Welcome to Who is Jesus? Episode 58. And we're completing Mark chapter 14 and going on into chapter 15. Mark 14 verse 66 is our first illustration this week. And this is the man who said he didn't know Jesus. Now, a week ago, we looked at the warning that Jesus gave Peter. And here in Mark chapter 14, verse 66 to the end, we see the fulfillment of that warning. Peter did not heed the warning. Fear took over and he made his own way in this situation. I want to give Peter his due. At least he was there. We rebuke Peter, we castigate him because he denied Jesus, but at least he was there. He was near enough for it to be a problem. Am I near enough Jesus for people to be able to point at me and say, they're a Jesus follower? Are there things about my life that cause people to say, you're one of them Christians? Now, what do I do with that? Do I excuse myself and say, well, yeah, I grew up that way, but yeah, it don't matter too much? Or do I get to the point that Peter got to, in verse 71? Peter swore, a curse on me if I'm lying. I don't know the man you're talking about. He got to swearing and cursing, calling down a curse on himself. Let's not be like that. Let's so rest in Jesus that the truth of Jesus' life in me flows out. I think again of that woman 2-3 weeks ago who wasted all that money on worship. I want to waste my life on Jesus. How about you? Or do you want to be far enough away, still on the fringes, but far enough away for people not to be too sure just where you stand? Let's not be fringe disciples. Fringe disciples deny. Secondly, in Mark chapter 15, we see the man who wanted to pacify the crowd. Do you ever get to the place where you just want to keep everybody happy? Are you a people pleaser? Am I a person pleaser or a people pleaser? Pilate was a people pleaser. It was political with Pilate, I believe. He was trying to edge his bets with Rome and the Jews. But he was a people pleaser all the same. And sadly, I can be a people pleaser. I'm not going to say too much because somebody might be offended or somebody might not like it or somebody might challenge me. This story of Jesus laying down his life brings out all sorts of facets in you and I. It makes me realise that these people in this story were real people and were people like me who could deny, who could sleep on the job, who could seek to please anyone but the truth. Because Jesus is the truth. So Pilate tries to please the crowd. First of all, he thinks, I'll ask Jesus himself, are you the king of the Jews? And Jesus says, well, you've said that. He didn't help him out at all there. Then the priests come along and they say this and they say that and they say the other. And then Pilate has a wonderful idea. At this feast, he usually releases a prisoner. So he'll give the crowd a choice. Jesus, who's basically a good man who does good things, or Barabbas, who's a thief and a robber and a murderer. Which will you choose? Well, obviously they'll choose Jesus, won't they? Won't they? Will they? And so he gives this choice. And they say, no, we want Barabbas. Stirred up by the priests and the crowd. They said, no, we want Barabbas. Well, then what shall I do with this man you call the King of the Jews? And they shout back, crucify him. Now at that point, Pilate, who realised that Jesus had done nothing wrong, should have stood up. But he wanted to pacify the crowd. And so, verse 15 says this, to pacify the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them and ordered Jesus flogged with a lead-tipped whip, and then turned him over to the Roman soldiers to be crucified. We've got the man who said he didn't know Jesus. We've got the man who wanted to pacify the crowd, didn't want to stick his neck out. And finally, we've got the soldiers who just wanted to make fun. There are people who just want to laugh, who just want to make fun. Do I stand with them, or do I stand in opposition? The soldiers took Jesus to the courtyard, and they dressed him in a purple robe and wove thorn branches into a crown. And they saluted him and taunted, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they struck him on the head with a reed, spat on him, and dropped to their knees in mock worship. And when they were finally tired of mocking him, they took off his purple robe, put on his own clothes, and led him away to be crucified. There are today people who laugh at Jesus, for whom Jesus is just a swear word, never a real person, and certainly not God the Son. Am I going to say I don't know him? Am I going to pacify the crowd around me? Or am I going to laugh along with the crowd at Jesus and all he stands for? This crucifixion of the Lord and Saviour of the universe causes each of us to make a stand, take a stand, or walk away. The crucifixion is the one event that does not give us room to just be pally-pally. It brings us into stark relief against the crowd around us. Peter denied, Pilate pacified, and the soldiers laughed. And what about me? And what about you? Am I going to deny or stand firm? Am I going to pacify or speak truth? Am I going to laugh and mock, or follow and receive, in all probability, the same treatment? We've got choices today. The Lord always leaves us with choices, never forces his will on you and I. He's saying, will you deny me, or will you stand with me? Will you pacify, or will you stand against? Will you laugh, or will you weep? The choice is yours and mine.